welcome to the Journey Mindfulness Podcast, where we explore the depths of human experience and the mysteries of universe and consciousness. I'm your host, James O'Neill, a professional counselor, mindfulness teacher, and hypnotherapist. And today we have the amazing privilege of speaking with Toni Ghazi, also known as the Antarean Heart. In addition to being a wildly successful real estate entrepreneur, Toni is a renowned trance-channeler and spiritual guide, bringing forth messages of unconditional love and integration from the Antares Stargate. His unique connection to higher consciousness allows him to share profound insights and guidance, helping individuals to awaken to their true potential by overcoming limitations. In this episode, we will delve into the world of channeling, explore the teachings of the Antarean beings, and discuss how we can apply this wisdom to our daily lives. Join us as we embark on a transformative journey with Toni. Toni, thank you so much for being here today. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you on. You have the most amazing and wonderful presence about you that really resonates with people. So thank you for being here.
Oh my God, thank you so much, James. Absolute honor and a privilege for me. And I'm completely humbled, for this interaction. And like for the audience to know, we don't know each other. We just met a week ago on email, and we live in the same area, which is crazy, but it's super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of what we were just talking about though. It is, as a professional and you're in business, there is that 3D life. And then there, at some point, you open up and you realize that there is so much more. And I know, oh gosh, what's her name? Georgia Jean, I think, who was
Yeah.
on Ruben Langdon. Like she talks about coming out of the cosmic closet. And
Yes.
so I know you were just talking about how you have your foot in both worlds of business and spirituality. So how do you walk that line?
Listen, I came out of two closets, like the gay closet and now the spiritual closet. I have so many, I'm in so many closets. It's freaking crazy. It's, so during COVID, my whole awakening happened. Like before COVID, I was very asleep, super asleep, like everyone else. And look, you lead your life based on the culture that you grew up in, your parents, on stories in your mind, the experiences you had through your friends, the things you watch on TV. We're always being molded by everything around us.
Yeah.
And the more you're molded, the more you have more layers to
Yeah.
take this off.
Yeah, we call that your original programming. We're getting programmed by all these things around us all the time.
Totally. And really enlightenment is deprogramming yourself. That's what it is. And there's no destination. So I've had many channel sessions, like through many clients and on stage and the praying mantis beings, which in the grander scheme of things, like they're light beings, but they're even beyond that. But our minds has to put them in a category because if we are at their level of true consciousness, our minds will not explode, but just wouldn't understand, cannot make sense of the infinite because we're infinite.
Yeah.
But like through them, they like really help me see and experience the world through the questions of people, because it's so funny. Like when I channel for people, like they always think I'm channeling for them. I say, the whole trick is I'm the creator, right? Because there's only one of us. I'm creating you and you're creating me. I'm creating this elaborate hoax that I'm a channel. And I have these clients out there that really want answers. So through them, they ask the question, but I'm receiving the answers that I need through them. So as much as you think that I'm channeling for you, I'm really channeling for me because I'm searching, because you're my ascended master. And I mean, there's so many experiences, but my whole mind truly shifted from being very limited, being super in a box, all these layers of stories that I created, my parents created for me, school, the media, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just one layer after another, just redefining it. And every time I would redefine one aspect in my mind through the lens that I choose to, I see magic. I see the shift. I'm like, wow, because, you get to create the reality that you want to be in. But until you get to the point where you believe that you are the creator, which that's another layer to,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh my God, like God's outside of me. I believe in Mother Jesus. I keep saying Mother Jesus. I've been saying it. Mother Mary, Jesus, or Krishna, or Buddha, or I don't know, all these like deities,
Right.
and they're outside of us. And there's an exterior force that's good or bad, that's causing this for me, it's causing goodness for me, or causing bad for me. It's all within us.
Yeah.
The real work is beginning to believe that you are Jesus, you are Mother Mary, you are the Buddha, you are the Krishnas, you are all these deities, you are the creator. And it takes some time or not. Um, Although I feel like really humanity is moving at super lightning speed now. So,
Yes,
all-
I
y-
agree.
like, so all the people that like took them 20 years to awaken or on their awakening path, like with me, it took me a year. With you, it took you like also a year. And there's a lot of, because we're in the quantum field now, like living, because there's a lot of humans on Earth that have worked on themselves and are really vibrating on a high vibration frequency. So we don't need 12-step programs to get to a destination. There is no destination really, but
Yeah.
we can shift quickly.
What was that moment for you? Because I know we talked about the influence that Ruben Langdon had with his TV show Interview with ED, which stands for Extra Dimensionals.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I saw, I think it was Anayana, she was channeling 11th dimensional Arcturians.
Yes.
And I'm watching her, and she's, a younger woman, and she is what is coming out of her mouth was clearly being channeled by something else, and it was just incredibly profound and wise, and it just captivated me and blew me away. That definitely opened me up, like, "Okay, there is clearly intelligence in the universe that is communicating with us right now, and I'm observing this." But what was that moment for you? I know there was a process, but
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I mean, listen, like when I watched Ruben, like the show, I was just hooked immediately. Like again, I had no context of what I was hearing. I couldn't understand the English, but just the mannerism, that little shift. What I know, I mean, like then I didn't have the words to use, and I didn't know all the, I could not have used all of the spiritual like words, but like you could clearly see that when like she's in the channeled state, the words that she's speaking, whether her eyes are open or closed, however the way that the person's doing is like one way, and when they really come out of it and they're back to their body, they're like a different freaking person. I'm like, oh my God, like it was the most captivating witness of like almost two personalities
Yeah, that
with, you know, but in that moment, I disempowered myself. I'm like, oh, well, she has a special gift. She was born with a gift.
oh, yeah, I absolutely do the same thing.
And
It's
that screws you really. That just puts you so far back, and you're like, oh, I can never be like her. I have to be born. I mean, of course, we all think we're special because we are special, but we never think we're that special to where, but the truth is, guys, just just for your audience, we all channel. We all are channelers. We always have, we always will, we always do. We're just not aware that we do.
I appreciate you saying that because I don't think a lot of people know that.
And all of us are special beyond comprehension. But we're so taught that we're not, and we just don't believe it. Every single one of us is a God. And there's only one of us. So if you're watching this, you are creating this whole elaborate hoax that there's me and that there's James and there's a computer here and lights behind me and I live in Washington, D.C. and all that. It's all a hologram of our creation. There's only you. You are the creator. I am really like part of you. Split that little piece and you created this one piece of you, and like you named Tony. You created the other piece of you, and like you named James, and you created the other piece of you. You named the plant. You created you split yourself to another piece. You made Mother Earth and all these things. We're all consciousness and we're all interconnected. There is never, ever, 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 ever a separation point. Ever. It's something
Yes.
ever. Well, this is how connected we are. And when you begin really like truly believing beyond the words and beyond the comprehension of the mind that we are, because oftentimes we say, oh, we're unconditional love and we're infinite. We say it in a very like loose way, not really understanding, comprehending the magnitude of what we're saying. We are infinite. If you believe that, then you are for infinity. You live, you never die, you are never born. You're always evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving into the grandness of who you are for infinity.
Well, that is such a huge concept, I think, for people to grasp, right? When I came at it first
Yeah.
was, okay, reincarnation is clearly real. I've had these experiences. I've done my past life regressions. Now I do them. So you don't die. Like, this is revelatory, right? Like you don't die. And yet we operate in fear so much of death to the point that we're willing to harm other people for our own survival. And it's just wild.
Because we've been so brainwashed by all kinds of religions or non-religions and all kinds of stories that, oh, what's after death, life after death, as if it's some crazy, insane, dark room. I don't know, whatever you can, but as a creator, you can create whatever you want. So you get to choose. Yeah. But when you really, again, believe and begin understanding or like knowing really it's right, because there's believing where it's all based on all these like layers of all these definitions like within your mind. And there's really knowingness where you don't need to comprehend things anymore. You just know it. You don't need a whole list of details to understand you just know it. There's like a knowingness within you that you should absolutely know and no one else can shake you
Sometimes I
from it.
describe that as a knowing beyond knowing. Like it's not like you just in your being, you know.
Yes. Yes. And when you truly begin knowing you don't die, and listen to this, because like they said it, the men's being, if you don't die, the act of killing doesn't exist to begin with. The act of war doesn't exist to begin with. Being a perpetrator and a victim doesn't exist to begin with. It's just an illusion based on like the separate definitions that we created that you are dying. It's just allowing you to experience what that limited version of your unlimitedness. See the English word.
It's
Uh,
okay.
you know, I make up words and I love it because I'm like, words are limited. I want to create more oomph to what I want to say. Like, this is who I am. So,
Yeah.
you know, so when you really begin knowing there is no death, so like, what's this whole concept of killing? What are you killing? You're
What are
not
you killing?
killing. You're just removing a costume. So
Yeah, we're actors in a play.
totally, because our soul, our energy is always there. I'm like putting on this costume of a man, this Lebanese man, blah, 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 who was born in Lebanon, moved to the US, to Washington, D.C., all the stories to experience that life. And like when I'm done with this life, I take off this costume. I can be a butterfly. I can be a planet. I could be a galaxy. I could be an alien. I could be the wind. I could be another human. I could be a dog. It's my choice to choose. I could be just energy. I could be a new form of that I can't even conceive right now as like part of creation.
Yeah.
And through those experiences, you evolve. Enlightenment is not a destination. That's another big faux pas into the whole spiritual. Oh, destination, destination.
Yeah.
Dude, infinity doesn't end. So which destination? If you keep running after the or a destination, you're gonna be running for a long time.
Yeah, no, we think we have to go through the programming, it seems, is we have to go through all of this suffering in order to be purified of our sins and all these negative things that we're comprised of in order to then get a taste of, what being enlightened is like.
God, you're bringing up so many good tidbits that I want to just jump and talk for 20 hours about. Idea of sin does not exist. Creation does not ever. They said the praying man speak. Creation never makes mistakes, ever, ever, and designs everything flawlessly in its perfect way. Every second, they say every choice you made, every choice you are making, every choice you will make is honored by creation. On the
There
spectrum of judgment that we create the idea of judgment, good, bad, evil, like polarity. Oh, if you are in love and light, you're a good person. Oh, if you're thinking about anything dark, you're a bad person. There's not even like darkness. There's just experience from the view and the lens of creation. And when you begin comprehending that, I'll never ever judged by creation, by myself, never. Whatever the choice I make, that even through the eyes of through the eyes of our society, that's limited to begin with. that created those limitations, created that spectrum of judgment, good, bad, and evil. Even through that lens, if I still believe, challenge yourself to be okay with everything, every choice you made.
Yeah. It's one of the, I want to say like litmus tests, but when I am listening to channeling or whatever, it seems to me, and I do want to define who the mantis beings are, but they really do. In mindfulness, we have the practice of non-judgment, but they really do practice that. Like they actually are non-judgmental. They see us in awe, in reverence, and love, um, which is this beautiful thing that we can do. But and and we talk about being non-judgmental, but so many people are who espouse the concept. You know.
And even within that realm of like realizing I should be, it's best to be non-judgmental because it integrates me, right? Even if you catch yourself being judgmental, don't judge yourself for having that moment because even the act of being judgmental is expression of creation. That's the next level
Yeah.
of not traumatizing yourself and not placing yourself into another box of judgment because it's all part of it. And really like awakening is just exploring the more of you in every facet of us. Um, I mean, even through the praying mantis meetings, I think in Las Vegas at like Disclosure Fest and I was on stage and like one guy asked, I think it was a guy or it could have been a woman, asked something about war. Oh, so if like humanity is rising in consciousness, however he had placed his question, uh, um, like how come we have war and how come, and specifically like he mentioned children dying.
Mhm.
Well, that's a trigger for everyone.
Right.
Because we disempower anyone that gets killed. And like the praying mantis beings came and said, it's because you see everyone as disempowered, and because you have created like a world that you are not the God and you are not infinite and that you are not light. You are all like light beings that will never ever die. These costumes and roles that you play allows the individual to experience that aspect of their expansion. And then the perpetrator allows them their experience of expanding through that lens, and them playing with each other that I am killing you and I am dying allows the co-creation like between both to expand on a grander level. And us as the observer, when we observe war and experience and have defined them as being disempowered, you experience, you open your heart to compassion, to unconditional love beyond you ever could have imagined. But it's because of that role, all these roles that are being played, that each one individually and as a collective, we're expanding together and learning more and really opening we think our hearts are open. Our hearts are like a small little like pinhole
Mm.
of a needle. They're allowing us to expand more because truly unconditional love, and that's another thing that triggers people, is loving everyone, everything. Even the act of war, you unconditionally loved and you honor it as part of creation. Even a child in pain and like dying, honor that being. Because we disempower them, we experience the idea of pain and them being suffer. But if we begin seeing each of these beings playing out whatever role as truly empowered gods, then we have like reverence to their choice to have come to earth and experience specifically what we call traumatic or hard or like challenging time. What a huge soul and courageous soul must be to play out that role, to allow us to witness and
Yeah.
experience. So when you like dissect these things from different lenses,
It ex it's I mean, to look at that, right, as an act of generosity and love to show the horror of that and to be able to show others what it might be like, from a different perspective to love.
yeah.
Um, and I think it absolutely opens up your world. And we can't, it's so hard to comprehend, you know, um, that is the way it is, and that all of this experience is held is held in love, even the trauma and the horror and all of these things.
Yeah.
Um, and yet here we are. And how do we allow it to inform our perspective? And then I think I heard you say in one of your interviews that we so often diminish the concept of love. Like we hear love, love one another, and we say it, but we don't allow ourselves to fully embrace it. And listen, I am challenged by this too. Like, what does love even mean? And how do I limit myself in my expression of that? This is a practice. It's not like something that I've mastered in any way.
Yes.
But to your point, I mean, it's a one of the messages that you bring forward is that, right?
Yeah. And then like there is no point again, like we go back to the idea of destination because we're so trained in our mind. There's always a milestone, there's always a destination. There isn't. The idea of creation is to continue and even if you reach a much higher like state of love, like then today, and you will, with every breath that you take, you're experiencing love. Um, with every microsecond like that you're living, you're experiencing love. It's just we continue expanding the idea of what love is. It will continue to expand forever and ever and ever. There will never be a point where you say, "Oh my God, I reached like this is love. I know what love is." No, the whole thing, the whole point is to continue expanding and realize it's bigger and bigger and bigger and different levels of love. And love is the integrative force. Love integrates everything. The praying mantis beings, on a few occasions, and like now, like they use, oftentimes, like when they speak to people about idea of judgment and love. They say, like, imagine yourself, as a painting, whatever painting that you can see in your mind. If this is your like totality as a being, and this is infiniteness, let's say, everything you see in this perfect painting is you. Every time you judge yourself, you judge an experience, you judge another person, you take a little piece, a small little square, and you throw it in the ether. You take a little piece and you throw it in the ether. Take a little piece, throw it in the ether. And now this whole painting that was beautiful and complete is all riddled with holes.
Mm,
The act of love, actually like going back through your lifetime and remember whatever you remember. Every time you judged you judge your body, you judge your decision, you judge your experience, you judge a person, you judged a movie you watched, you judge a thing you saw on TV, judge. If you're able to go back and speak to that version of you that judged those aspects and honor its journey, that it's okay to judge, but at the same time, now you're aware that you judge them because like you were separating, and now unconditionally love the version of you that judged.
mm,
Because within judgment, you're judging yourself. You're not realizing. Unconditionally love that aspect. When you do that, because the act of love integrates, it pulls things together. That piece that you threw away into the ether is coming back and it's back into that whole. The more you go back to all those moments that you can remember that you judge yourself or others and honor that journey as being valid as a part of reality and just love it for it being it, not because you judge it. Love it. You bring it back, and like little by little, you put the pieces back into the holes to be able to see yourself again as a whole. WHOLE. They gave me this beautiful, like when I channeled it, I experienced it was like that's the whole purpose of life. We're literally like putting the pieces back to our wholeness. And the more we do, the more we see the picture become bigger and bigger and bigger and clearer and clearer and clearer. And along the process, you realize there is like no destination in a point where the painting is complete. It just continues on getting bigger and bigger and bigger to realize that you are infinite, infinite, infinite. And that's where like we come to the now moment of creation. A lot of gurus, meditative people, they speak about the now moment. Why it's so important? Because if you want a destination, because the idea of thinking of destination is already like limited, right? But
mhm.
if you want to think from that terms and perspective, the now moment is the only destination you could be in. Because in this now moment, how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, every emotion, every memory, everything that's happening, which a lot of it's happening at once, be in it and allow it to simply be. It's not to change it. It's not to tweak it. It's not to adjust it. It's not to not be. It's not to judge it. None of that. Just allow the energy to be what it is. And when you surrender fully into that moment, then you experience this now moment of creation that allows you fully with clarity and awareness to experience the next moment. Because oftentimes we jump through these moments, not being in those moments,
Yeah.
escaping this moment. And when you escape something, it's going to come back. Because how else can you expand if you don't experience your allness?
Yeah.
You know, you can push some aside and experience them 20 years from now, or 20 million light years from now. You're going to come back and experience it, because the only thing the whole purpose of life is to simply experience. And energy has no label. Pain, happiness, like sadness, disappointment, embarrassment, all these like labels that we created are simply labels to a neutral energy. So
Mm,
even when we witness a child dying, or like somebody killing somebody, or like wars, we're experiencing that range of emotionality because we place the label, war is not a good thing. A child is dying is not a good thing. If we see like, blood or being whatever, that's, they must experience like pain. All these labels we're adding to the storyline, and we're experiencing it based on the
yeah.
label. Energy has no meaning. Energy is just a flow, they said. Flow of creation. It's like smoke. If you see smoke in the air, how it moves and reforms, that's what energy is. But
Yeah.
through our limited way of understanding the infinite, which we won't be able to understand until you become the infinite, we have to place some meanings. But through those acts of meanings, we experience that reality.
Wow.
We can shift everything. It's just crazy stuff they bring. Like, and look, and I know how I talk. I know the vocabulary in my mind. Like, and when these things come in and I experience them, like, oh, like I'm like, oh my God, I know this is not me. Cause dude, that's not how I talk, you know?
I mean, what you said was honestly one of the most profound things that I've heard in how you communicated that the Mantis beings articulated. And I've heard you talk about it before, but just the love is the glue. So, taking that picture, that painting, and, maybe it's forgiving yourself and, or, not judging yourself and accepting yourself with love and understanding, and then coming into completion. But that ability, love is the healing frequency, and what that actually means as you integrate it in the now moment.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Yes. And then like love has been misunderstood in like so many ways. We've been so trained and conditioned. Love is like the movies or like Disney or whatever. It's been so like written for us what love is. Like true love, unconditional love is witnessing because we're all ascended masters. Guys, I'm looking at the screen and the thing. You are an ascended master. Whoever's listening, we're all ascended masters. When you witness an act of war, even from the limited perspective what our humanity described or created war is, and all the players like within it and all the emotionalities that could go within it, the act of witnessing war as an act of creation and humbly just allowing those creators and those ascended masters to play out what they chose as divine beings to play out is unconditional love. Attempting to alter their destination, alter their free will choice to experience like something different because within our limited mind, we don't agree with what's happening, or we think it's bad, or we think it's good, does not honor their free will choice as innocent and master to have chosen exactly what they wanted to experience. That's unconditional love. It's not about you saying, oh, like war is okay and it's good for people to die. It's not that. It's allowing the divine beings that are playing out this role because they are divine, because they have a free will choice, to simply observe them with humbleness and allow them to do exactly what they chose to do with no interference. That's an act of unconditional love. It's not loving the act of war or like loving seeing people dying or loving seeing blood or whatever, however our minds. No. When you dig deeper into what love means, you like realize, wow, like love, it comes in many shapes, forms, and ways. But unconditional love, it's not even interfering in allowing creation to be exactly what it chose to be. On creation, like when I witness a war, I'm witnessing an act of creation between all these players
mm,
that are all divine, all powerful, all well-knowing, all omniscient, omniscient, all these big words that mean, you know, that mean, like consciousness is observing them fully as creators doing exactly what they chose to do. That's an act of unconditional love.
It's interesting that you chose that example. In my first past life regression, one of the things that came out for me was that in a previous life, it was very violent, and I chose that life, or I was in that life. And then in this life, post 9/11, when I was younger, there was the choice to go to war. And looking back on it with the regression, it was, why was I showing that life? And it's because you chose something different. You had already had that experience and you knew that you didn't need it anymore. So instead of going into the Marine Corps, it was going into the Peace Corps. And so you've had this experience, you're moving on to the next level of sorts, the next that you want to experience. And that's why you were shown that
Yeah.
to experience that contrast, because that you have to in order to gain it.
Yes. But also that tells you that you fully like surrendered into whatever past life you had that was that was war related. Because sometimes we could play out in these roles, whatever, if it's war, if it's happiness forever. But if you're not fully surrendering of what it means, then you're gonna like live it again to a because when you fully surrender into what it is, then you experienced it. And once you experience it, you'll never experience it again. You'll experience a different shade of it and a different and a different like degree of it. Because once you it, you're it. You don't need to re-edit, if that's even a word. You're it,
Yeah.
and this is the purpose of life, to fully surrender in the moment. Like I have back pains and I hurt my back, I don't know, like 10, 12 years ago at the gym. And like over the years, it became bad. And then like when COVID came, which of course now having this like realization, I knew like deep down that all these back pains, like L4, L5, S1, all these discs like flared up and I couldn't walk for a week. I'm hunched over, white pain like through my spine while selling real estate from my bed, trying to figure out all was part of my awakening. But about a year ago, I had one extra episode where I was in so much pain. I've never recorded myself, but I just like felt called like to record myself and see if I can channel through the pain. And I started screaming. Like when I say screaming, like you would think I was being killed. I was just,
Mm.
the pain is so great. I had to scream out loud. And I realized in that moment that I fully surrendered to the pain, like something that I've never done for 8 years when I experienced all those other painful. And the more that I resist to the pain, the more that pain clinches, the muscles clinch. I
Mhm.
like the moment I surrendered and just allowed sound, just like pain wanted to be heard almost. Pain wanted
Yeah.
to be as like it's almost like pain saying, scream loud because I am part like the pain sounds like this. And the moment I did that, I swear to you, I felt no pain. And I was in this moment of knowingness that, wow, what I resist, and I have chills all over my arm right now. Like what I have been resisting all this time is to fully be what pain is.
Yeah.
And like since then, I haven't experienced it. And like since then, like my back has gotten a lot better. And I'm still kind of aware and I'm still kind of careful because I'm in the 3D, etc. But it was a moment of awakening that my sound is powerful, that allowing that energy that came in the form of resistance to create the pain just needed to be heard by me and
Yeah.
witnessed by me. So crazy, like realization of complete surrender. So you in that war, when you like played it out, you surrendered whatever, whether you'd shot somebody or you were shot, however, it played out. In that moment, you surrendered into exactly who you were. So you'll never experience that again.
Yeah. And that's really interesting, Tony, to hear you talk about pain, because so many people are in pain, and they do resist and they don't allow that energy to flow, or to in some way accept it, I guess. But that do you, when you palpably have that experience where you're in intense pain one moment and then you let it go and then you surrender and then it's gone and then you're like, what just happened? Oh my gosh.
It's like a brain explosion. It's like, are you kidding me? Why didn't I know that 10 years ago? And obviously, like, it's a brain explosion of like, and also like you don't believe what just happened. Like there's a small like denial like factor of like, did this just really happen? Or no, it's some like you're creating a story that the pain will come back again because no, this cannot be real. Like what I just experienced, no, like there is that moment in And with each second tick, 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 like goes by, like you realize, oh, there is still no pain. Because you're in your mind, you're thinking pain is going to come back because it always came back and never left. It was always there. So
Yeah.
there is a little kind of like journey of, wow, this worked. But my realization was the pain needed to be heard by me, and the
Mhm.
pain needed to be acknowledged by me. Because what we oftentimes do, and what we condition it through our society is, you shouldn't feel pain. You shouldn't experience pain. So we always push it away.
Yeah.
So conditioned. But pain is you to begin with. I am pain. I am love. I am joy. I am embarrassment. I am all these like emotionalities. And when I allow that energy that's been labeled pain to be experienced as that, and when I'm it, then I've experienced it. I don't need to experience it again because it's part of me now. I'm not resisting it. I'm not invalidating it as part of creation.
Yeah.
I'm validating it as part of creation, but on top of that, a deeper level, at I am pain. And it's hard for people to accept I'm pain or I'm war or I'm death or I'm this or I'm that, like, because we're so conditioned. Don't think that way. You should be love. You should be light. You should be roses. You should. And I feel that's the conditioning.
Yeah.
Because if you're infinite and if you believe exactly what that means, if you know what that means, infinity means everything,
You're
every
everything.
shade of creation, every possibility, every emotion, every probability, everything we are. So how can you be everything but yet deny many parts of
Deny.
who you are because of the conditioning that society said you can't be this and that?
Yeah. Deny the unpleasant.
From our perspective, it's unpleasant. From creation's perspective, it's you. It's the allness of you. It's the isness of everything. It's just creation and expression with no labels. It's just different shades of all,
Yeah.
you know?
We You talked about listening to your pain and, another, I would say, channel wrote a book, Energy Speaks. Um, I know that some of the people that I talked to, they want to communicate with their guides or their higher self, whether that is Mantis beings or whomever. What advice would you give them for those that feel like they're close, but they're not either hearing, they feel like they're listening, but they're not hearing it?
You are not as far as you think you are. You're literally there, but to realize that you're there. Because you've always communicated to your guides, you've always heard your guides in a sense within your consciousness. Now you're training your mind to allow itself to surrender. Listen to this. And this is new because I've never said this because I feel kind of the channel essence. You're allowing your physical brain that's been so trapped into the idea of control and conditioned. Like the train is a master of conditioning. It's the master of all masters. And the more you put all these codes in, the more it becomes a super master of conditioning. You're allowing the brain to surrender into like, you know what? Yes, I like control. I like all these limitations. I like to know every step one to step 12 or whatever it is, and the outcome and where I began. I like knowing things. You're allowing that to surrender and allowing consciousness to be heard.
Mm.
You're hearing it. In other times, we're not aware that you heard it. You're just training yourself to become more aware of what are all the communication that's happening. I'm like to you, and it's really funny that you asked that question because I just began like a channeling class. So every Monday and then every Tuesday, like from 8 to 11, it's a 6-week course. Like because we had many people ask, "Oh, do you teach channeling?" Da, da, da. So we just began it last week. And we had an amazing, amazing class last night where people have never channeled beautifully. I
Really?
mean, yes, I had chills. I mean, I can send you like the Zoom link so you can watch it. I had chills all over my body. I felt so joyful for witnessing someone who thought they're so disempowered channel. Because
Yeah.
channeling comes in many ways. Channeling is not necessarily like me or Bashar or Elizabeth April, all these other people. It's about trusting your voice, your process, your way of expressing things. It could come in many ways. It's just really surrendering to the preconditioning that I should sound this way. I should X, Y, and Z. Um, but I want to, yeah. But quickly, I want to mention the idea of cancer. I don't know why, because as you were speaking and we were talking about like pain, like the idea of cancer came in.
Okay.
Like, you know, um, And like the idea of how what I experience pain like through my back pains, and like my realization of like surrendering to the pain, the idea of any disease, right? Whether it's cancer, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's, I don't know, all the other forms of them, are simply resistance to allowing that energy to also be as part of creation, because we've been so conditioned. It's not okay to have cancer. It's not okay to have back pain. It's not okay to be broken. We're never broken. It's just energies wanting to come through us. When we resist it and deny it as part of creation, it manifests, and it will continue manifest until you finally surrender. And oftentimes, if you don't surrender within the conscious mind of this like awakened life, you have to transition and become aware of it after you die, basically, although you don't die.
Yeah.
You become conscious, realizing the cancer was just energy to begin with, or any other form. And oftentimes, surrendering into cancer doesn't mean to tell cancer, like, kill me, although like there's no like death, but, no, it's just allowing cancer to be part of creation, who you are, and fully surrendering into the idea that what if cancer does kill me? What if whatever other like ailment does end my life? It's okay. And I'm honoring it fully as part of creation. I'm honoring it fully as creation with unconditional love. The trick is the moment you surrender into the beyond acceptance, the invite and like welcoming that this aspect of me that could die from cancer is okay because I am part of the infinite. I bet you the moment you snap into that, it will literally like fizzle away the cancer, and you'll never experience it again. Because in that moment you fully surrendered and didn't resist that energy. And that energy that was once scary, that was once painful, that was once written by our society that it's not good, becomes neutral energy and flow of you, and will just go. And in that moment, you would have allowed yourself full surrender into your own consciousness. And literally, you would have awakened through the idea of cancers. Everything is a teacher for us. Everything is ascended mastery through every experience, whether it's painful, whether it's joyful, whether it's traumatic, whether it's horror, whether it's whatever. It's the moment of how much surrender. And of course, surrender comes in many forms, in many layers, in many different shades.
Yeah.
Further you surrender and allow into the I'm facing death, if that's your fear. The moment you face it, you realize you're not going to die. You're going to live a little longer. Like, but it's getting to that point. It's breaking those barriers. So the power is within us, guys. We are masters of limitations. We are masters of our infiniteness. If we
Yes.
can create limitation and create a world of so much darkness and so much pain and so much X, Y, and Z, we are creating it. Like, listen to what we're saying. I am creating my reality. Well, if I'm creating my reality, I can create any reality of my desire. And when I begin remembering that I'm the creator, then you become empowered enough to shift your reality into
Yeah.
any version. But up until that point, if you continue feeling disempowered, and that's okay, part of creation, because it allows you to expand, then you experience a world of disempowerment where you're waiting to be healed, where you're asking for Jesus outside of you or any other a holy entity outside of you to heal you, when it's all within you
Yeah.
are the healed states. So
There
uh,
is a lot that you just shared there that is it's incredibly empowering, and I'm just imagining to some people that, that are maybe going through that, but there is this tremendous amount of deprogramming that we have to do to get there. Um,
yes,
Tony, would
sure.
you be willing to maybe say who the mantis beings are? I don't know if we've actually defined it yet, and perhaps channel for a few minutes if you feel called to.
Of course, I love the channel. I mean, it's really my new like role on Earth. But look, the praying mantises truly, 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 like when they came to me through my first past life regression. I don't know if you heard that part on like some of the interviews. Uh,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, but I'll describe quickly like like to your audience. So the first image that came through my first past life regression, I was under hypnosis. This quick face of a praying mantis that was rectangular. It was instantaneous, like flash, flash, but it was so clear. But within that moment, what I experienced, the new thing that I experienced is, although it was a quick flash of like flash, flash, very clear, I was in that flash for infinity, two awarenesses at once. It was so
Mm,
fast, yet it was the slowest thing ever. Like,
interesting.
if you stop and think about that, it's quite mind-boggling. But the like next flash, like that came through. Is this like the long body silhouette of a head, of shoulders and arms like this, 20, 30 feet high of pure light, like light emanating like outside of that silhouette. And I could hear and feel that we are the praying mantis beings. We will not come in our pure essence, because if we do, your mind will not be able to comprehend what is seeing. It will be like static on TV, where it's going like, it just wouldn't be able to understand like what it's seeing. So we have to come into a form that your mind can comprehend, but through the light emanation, like you're getting frequencies and vibrations that will allow your like consciousness to acclimate to who we are, and little by little we'll introduce ourselves like to you. The next in like last image, the third in like last image that came through is of this heart. I was inside of this heart, and it was sliced. So it was these infinite slices, like into infinity. Within these slices, each slice has these clear crystal-like facets. They were faceted like a crystal, but like whatever clearest crystal you've seen on Earth, you multiply this by infinity. Like the clarity of like such a facet was so intelligent, I cannot describe it. And within the infiniteness, which goes like forever, like there's a point, like we say, like the middle point where there was a grain of light. And when I say grain, it's almost as a grain of a sand, like a very tiny little light. And the message that came down is, you do not need to show yourself as a flame or a massive volcano or a bonfire or a big fire to know how powerful you are. All you need is a grain of your light to know the power that is contained within it. And that little light reflection went on to one facet, to the next, into infinity, creating this vehicle, beautiful Merkaba of light. And in that moment, I have chills all over my hands right now. In that moment, I knew immediately I was unconditional love and I was light. And after those three like successive images of like fast, yet I was in them, all these messages came through, all this vision of details came through. I knew immediately, either I have lived as a praying mantis, I was a praying mantis. Praying mantises are like my family. And in that moment, I didn't care how to define it. I just knew. It's the knowing of the knowing that you said, that they're my family, or it's my first connection to the all, or
Your step family.
and I ran with it. And I just ran with it like a crazy person on the street. I know who I am. Like, I was so excited. I called so many people. So that was how I've connected with them. Now, there isn't any literature outside or on the internet about praying mantis beings. There aren't many people that channel them. There isn't a lot of information anywhere like about them, which was good for me, because I could rely on my information not to get diluted by what's out there. But there's nothing wrong with like listening, because all of these like versions that people see from their perspective is part of the grand reality.
Well, it's fascinating because I don't know if you know who Jacqueline Smith is, but I'm going to have her on the show. But she was my intro from Reuben Langdon to Mantis beings, and
So I had a session with her. Like, I've had many sessions with
oh,
her.
excellent, me too. Yeah,
A long time. It was like, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And I forget like what she told me. But yes, like she's one of the few like that connects with praying mantis. And I think there's one guy like this in the UK. I forget his name. God, he sounds like a big designer of clothes. Yes. Anyhow, there's 2 or 3 people that purely can, and not like purely, but like made it their mission to say, I connect with praying mantis, but there aren't
yeah,
a lot. So like to me, there wasn't a lot of information.
sure.
But I had a session with Debbie Solaris, if you know who. If
I
Debbie,
noticed that I think it's going to be on the cruise with you.
she's a great friend. I mean, I know.
Okay,
I'll connect you with all these people on your show.
excellent.
Great for you.
Yeah,
They're amazing. And I had a channel session with her, because of course she's booked out for years, and I don't know. I think I waited 8 months to have a session with her, and she was the first one who's quite credible. Into like the whole Akashic, like galactic history, who said that you come from the Antares gate. And I don't know anything about horoscope. I don't follow horoscope. I don't follow stars. It's not my thing. I
wow.
had no clue that Antares is an actual planet in the stars. And she said that that's where the praying mantises, like, in the States emanate from. Ever since she mentioned that word Antares, I felt home. That's all I can say. I knew nothing about it. I really don't care to know much about stars. It's not my thing. I just don't gravitate
Yeah.
towards learning it. Um, but I embodied like the Antarean heart because the heart aspect. Um, and as I channeled and I began channeling and allowing the praying mantis to come through like channel sessions, I learned more and more who they are. Although like there is a planet or a star that's called like the Antares, I really connect to the Stargate.
Okay.
And it's really consciousness, intelligent like energy that's a doorway within the fabric of the universe that allows all kinds of beings to come through. But you cannot just come through. You have to be a specific vibration and frequency. And like according to Debbie Solaris, I was one of the Stargate keepers. Like not the, but one of, because there's many of them
Yeah.
that I guess, I don't know, allowed felt vibration and frequency and let people in to come into our solar system. Um, and like during one interview, like one person asked or host asked, oh, like what's the Stargate or like how many Stargates we have around Earth and I don't know what else. And or like, where are they like actual, because there are many Stargates,
Yeah.
across our world and within the fabric of the universe. The praying mantis answered this genius way of answering it. No way on earth I could have said it. But they said, in short, the Stargates that you seek is within your heart. You are all the Stargates that you're looking for. And the fact that we witness and experience the physical Stargate of Antares, of Antarctica, of Egypt, of these pyramids, of Bermuda Triangle, all those are Stargates. You experience them outside of you, in exterior of you, as a physical location on your earth, because you're living in a world, you've defined your world to be limited and outside of you. But when you truly tap into your oneness with all, that you are creating this hologram of separation, you experience the act of Stargate as being on the Pyramid of Giza, for example, or in Antarctica, or in when truly everything is emanating to begin with within your hearts.
Yeah. I've not heard that put in that way. That's fascinating.
I have chills. And like this was recorded, and I can send you the recording. It was on a big panel. But it opened me to the idea of, wow, I am experiencing the stars and the moon and the sun and the wind and mother planets and all these people and the animals outside of me, because within like the collective consciousness of humanity, we like set out these rules that we live in a limited world, and through our limitations, we created all these criteria. That's how we experience things, but it's all of it is emanating through our Stardate.
Yeah.
How powerful is that? Like,
It's, but that's in line with the message, right? Like we are that crystalline energy, that spark, or that, you know, diamond, if you will, that grain of sand that's so powerful, that's within us, and we don't acknowledge that.
yes. And also the idea of power is not from the way we understand power. Like, I'm more powerful than you. Has nothing to do with strength or weakness. True power is being the all and surrendering to all your allness. Because once you are it, there's no more search or need or desire to be or feel power. You are it. There's no need to ruffle your feathers and say, I am powerful. That's the ego mind thinking that it's weak. That's why it's screaming that I'm so powerful. When you're infinite power, you are. When you're infinite unconditional love, you are. There's no more the seeking a higher level of such. You are it. And that's really the key of existence, is to be the every part of the allness fully and surrender into what it is, regardless of whether it's larger than this or higher level than this or lower level than this. Those are all our ego trying to create like polarity, because we live in like a world of polarity. Is this better? Is this not better? Really, the meaning of life is to simply allow all to be and to fully surrender into what each of those allnesses means. These little small facets, tidbits. What does it really mean to feel afraid? Today, through my experience, my lens, fully surrender and not resist in it. The moment you do that, you'll never experience that fear again. You experienced another fear, this slightly small variant like of it, because that's another another facet of it. But to go beyond the comprehension and the intellect and just fully like surrender into these moments will take some training, deconstructing like your mind. Like this morning, I got a call like from a client who, and I'm being very raw and like super vulnerable, who said, "Oh, Tony, like, I'm disappointed. This happened." And she spoke her emotions. My ego got struck. I'm like, "What? I always do a good job. What do you mean?" And I was hurt. My ego was freaking hurt and it was crying
Yeah.
inside. And I had to pull myself back and say, and it was a little bit like, of a struggle of like, how can you see that perspective? That's not what happened from my view, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had to put all that aside and say, you know what? You have to honor literally, I spoke to myself this morning right before our call. I said, you have to honor this being fully and with humbleness and just witness their journey and like listen to them and have a call with them and just hear them fully from their perspective, their lens. Because whatever they're going through for whatever reason, however they described it, imagined it, experienced it, it's their reality that is valid for them. And I, as a divine being, fully knowing she's a divine being, creating her reality, it's important for me to honor her version.
Yeah.
That's a three-dimensional reality out of consciousness, back to 3D, back to ego experience I had this morning that I had to remind myself. Okay,
Yeah.
ego, I know you were hurt. Just calm down, take a breath. It's okay. So what if I'm hurt? Like, no way, like Tony can be hurt. He always does a good job. He's a great realtor, whatever, the stories we create that we're,
Right. Yeah.
I needed to be okay to hear what she said because I don't hear that often. And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Uh,
So, and I'm like, what mirror? And I like, and I'm just showing this like to your audience, like to help them see how the process like works sometimes. And I kept speaking to myself saying, okay, she's my ascended master. What is she showing me that I'm not seeing? See clearer, Tony. She is my mirror. She is your mirror. What is she showing you that you need to see? Because
yeah.
truly, she is me trying to show me that something I cannot see within me. So you speak to yourself. Yes, act crazy. That's always good, actually, because you break the norm. Talk to yourself, challenge yourself, be interested in knowing what's occurring here, right? And it's
Curiosity. Yeah.
curiosity. And it's okay to witness the ego being hurt because it's really the ego is doing exactly like what it does. It's a dramatic drag queen, really. The drag queen is so dramatic. Uh,
Yeah.
look, the ego is on the stage of creation trying to win the Oscars. It's going to create drama. It's designed exactly what it's meant to do. Our
But
job,
that's integrating all of these things in the
totally.
moment, in the 3D, right? Like being able to go through that because that's real.
Totally, totally, totally. And it's okay to dialogue with the ego. It's okay to create contracts with the ego. It's okay to pacify the ego and build a relationship because oftentimes we don't build a relationship consciously with the ego. We know the ego is playing out somewhere in the background, but it's so separate from us still. We
Yeah.
honor the ego. I am the ego. It's part of me. She, it, her, she, whatever. So
Yeah.
there is all these dynamics and all these flow of trying to,
Yeah, no, it's really interesting because, sometimes, the idea is out there like, oh, you have to kill your ego or to have no ego. And it's like, well, that is judgment. That is being harsh. Like the ego is a part of you. It helps you, you know, integrate into act in this world, navigate it all. You need it. It's
yes,
a friend of yours. It's not an enemy.
yes. And the ego was designed for the idea of like limitation, of separation, of segregation, of polarity. It's designed exactly what it's supposed to do to give you the experience of whatever we're experiencing, because through the experience, I'm expanding. We're expanding. So even my little instance, like this morning, as hurtful as it was to the ego, and I went through my little like sifting of what am I not seeing and whatever I just described, that's expansion. That's enlightenment. That's stretching your reality. And when you begin seeing everything in your life from that perspective, you begin appreciating every challenge you have because you begin seeing it as opportunity, allowing you to expand and not that, oh, I had this challenge and this whole society says I shouldn't be having challenge. I should be in a rosy field somewhere, like skipping, I don't know, in a dress or in shorts or however you see yourself like skipping, we're denying it. No, when you begin seeing it from the lens of it's your ascended master, it's your teacher, then every challenge you have, you welcome from a very different perspective. And you really learn and expand yourself because you learn more about who you are when you experience all
Yeah.
these variations of everything, whether it's happy or sad or traumatic. Like this morning, it was quite traumatic for me. And my ego was very dramatic. Like, oh my God, it was just off the charts. And
Well,
she won a few Oscars doing it, but then I'm kind of taking her down. I'm like, calm down, lady.
well, I appreciate you sharing that, but that, also that skill of holding that moment and appreciating in appreciation and knowing that it's an opportunity for expansion is
Yeah.
is remarkable. And obviously you have the skills for that, and perhaps that happened to help share today.
And it's a constant reminder. Like I kept reminding myself, saying, "It's a mirror. It's a mirror. It's a mirror. See what you don't see, Tony. See that what you." She's like, I had to speak to my brain like a little child, to repeat 5, 6 times because it's easy to fall into the programming,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. Like it's my process to, not feel, because in the past I would have like unearthed the earth to try to save my client, and oh my God, I'm so hurt, and I still would save my client, but there's an unearthing of things
Yeah.
and feeling so disempowered. And how can this happen? How and like very emotional, like speaking from emotion instead of from a very centered place. Like
Mhm.
there's a message there you're not seeing. Relax the emotions, see with clarity. Don't let the emotions cloud the clear message that's right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Tony, I want to honor your time. I know you're about to go on an adventure with the Mantis beings. Like to come through and share a message for us
Yes, totally.
or our
Yeah,
time parts.
yes, and like just between you and I can extend to 10:45 because I'm really enjoy. If you prefer,
Oh, I don't mind.
I'm really enjoying this. I feel like I need to be here now, and I'll figure out I can like zoom through the rest of the time.
Okay.
So I'll bring them through. I don't know if like you heard me, but they'll tone a little bit like through their wording and like they'll bring a message to humanity. It could be for you specifically, and it could be to the audience that's listening in the now moment, as we know everything's happening now. Yeah. And then like they say, like you're welcome to ask a question. So if you feel called to ask a question, ask. If you don't and you want to be in complete silence, they most likely will bring a specific message for you. I don't know what they'll say, but
I'm
so
curious. Yeah, I'm open ended.
right.
I want to bless the audience with, you know, their wisdom and their message. I find very powerful. So,
Yes. And then like keep in mind, like for your audience, as you're witnessing this, like feel free to close your eyes. You want to peek, you want to look. There's no right or wrong way to be, but know that beyond the words that are being shared, there's a lot of energies that words cannot contain. That's really a lot of activations.
yeah,
There's a lot happening that and I need to say this, all of us are co-creating.
yeah,
Whatever's about to be said is said because we co-created it for us to hear it together for our expansion, for each and every one of us.
it's wonderful. Yeah.
And from the Antares, Stargate, we come through in this way
Mhm.
to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness, to merge our hearts with your hearts, To be one with you in this way. To be one with the source energy that you are. You are the light that you seek. You are the universe within many universes. You are designed with perfection. You emanate the frequency and vibration of unconditional love fully. You are made of that integrative essence, that glue that binds all of you as one. The interconnectedness of all, the fabric of all realities, the fabric of your DNA, of your physical structure, of your light structure, of your surroundings and your world is all interconnected because of the unconditionality of love that Source gives you constantly every microsecond of your creation. Literally, the fact that you are interconnected together, weaving yourselves, the fibers of your beingness, together as one, is all held by the unconditionality of love of you, the Creator. Should Creator ever loves you conditionally, even for a microsecond, that glue will fall apart. So should you be seeking for the aspect of love from an unconditional way, from an expanded way, know that it already resides within you. There is nothing for you to create. It is already there for you to tap into it. You are the glue of your own experiences. You are the shining light within the dark aspects of who you are. You are the portal of Source itself. You are an engine of energy that is contained within this physical body, an engine of unlimited power to be the magicians that you are. The act of speaking is magic. The act of thought is magic. The act of feeling is magic. The act of experiencing is magic. The act of breathing is magic. Your heartbeat is magic. Every step that you take is magic. Every person that you meet is magic. Every animal that you encounter is magic. Every dream that you have is magic. Your collective consciousness and humanity, Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, everything that exists within that realm of your reality is magic and made of magic. All being created by you as a consciousness, intelligent, sovereign being. We will hold you in a container, a womb of creation, we will say. Arms wide open, holding you against our chest, infusing and reminding you that you are never alone. You are forever loved, cherished, and honored with privilege. Each and every one of you is a creator, birthing new realities every microsecond of your living. Silence.
How can we activate the magic in our life if we haven't experienced it yet or feel like we are stuck? Is there a process that you could share for those listening that we could integrate um, this magic of love and this life in creating our reality, bringing forth the magic?
Yes. Know that the magic that you are seeking is already within you. There is nothing to create. There is nothing to imagine. It is already made from you, by you, through you. There are many modalities, we will say tricks of the mind, that you are able to utilize to remind yourself of such. But these modalities are only useful when you surrender, when you allow, in a sense, the trust in your own divinity and the trust in the magic that's within your grasp to be utilized. Challenge yourselves to create a new paradigm of reality. And as you challenge yourself to, for example, should you in the past have acted upon an idea and the results of such an idea were not satisfactory, attempt to recreate that same idea with a new lens of you being the magic. And throughout the process until you get to the destination of the result, that's where the key lies. The full surrender into not knowing whether or not such act or performance will result. In other words, the expectation of having a result will limit you from fully surrendering and trusting that the result will occur regardless. It is truly within the act of surrender of not knowing whether or not that result will be achieved, that magic will be achieved, where the magic is actually achieved. Because through the process of expectation, of waiting, of seeing closer, of attentively being on edge to wait for the result is truly limiting the magic within you. It is the full surrender to when you begin saying, for example, every morning when you wake up, I am the magician that I seek. And with every thought, word, and act that I perform, magic is created. Magic is created. Within that expression, you know that magic will be created. There is no doubt whether or not magic is created. There is no need along the line for the magic to manifest, to be waiting on pins and needles, to look very closely, to be in hyper-aware mode, to see the manifestation of such. That act is all doubt and worry, all expectation, all telling the universe that I do not trust that magic is created. It's in these little tricks of the mind, the deprogramming, that I am already the magic that I'm creating. There is no creation as such. I am simply manifesting more of who I already am. So there is no need for me to wait or witness or see or wonder when the magic will occur. It is that full surrender into the moment that I utter a word, the moment that I have an intention. Whatever I desire will occur, is already occurring, has occurred. It takes full surrender. And at times it takes practice to surrender fully. There are many permission slips you can use depending on where your soul gravitates to. You can use specific crystals to assist you on that journey. You can use specific mantras to help you on that journey. You can begin with a meditative practice to help you on that journey. All of those truly aren't needed should you know already what you know within you. But should you need assistance in a little crutch, we will say, it is okay to use such, because soon enough you will relinquish the idea of such permission slips and you will fully and solely rely on everything that you say, every emotion that you feel. You will fully know that you are a manifester of all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Where does in the process of surrender, I know a block for me or a hindrance has been this pervasive sense of fear. Where does that come from? Is that part of in our creation story? Like where, and how to work with that?
The fear always emanates from the disempowered state of your true knowingness about self. Because should you truly know thyself as being the magician, fear will not exist.
Mm.
So dig deeper into the layers within your conscious mind of why am I afraid? Perhaps you are afraid of a specific result. Speak to that version of you that experiences or will experience or should experience that result. And so what? Oftentimes, fears is a teacher for you, as many and all experiences are ascended master for you, allowing you, dragging you to the part of you that is waiting to be released, waiting to surrender into the consciousness of all. Oftentimes, the idea of failing, whatever the expectation is of such a destination or result, the idea of surrendering into what if I fail? What if I cannot achieve such a thing? That is okay and is part of creation. And I validate that potentiality, that experience alone as you formulate, in a sense, within your mind, that possibility. The surrender into that will dissipate the fear of such.
Are more people waking up now? And
Precisely.
have we jumped timelines?
Each and every one of you lives on a specific timeline, in a sense different than the rest. But within the timelines, within the variation of all the timelines, consists a, we will say, oversoul, overarching general timeline. Because truly and essentially, the only world that you live in is your world, yes?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
the other worlds that you are observing are the other ascended masters' timelines and worlds. There are micro variations, although it may seem that all of you, all of humanity is living all on one timeline. Within that overarching general timeline, there are several specific timelines specific to your vibration frequency choices that you made, consciousness that you're in, that is veering you, intertwining with other timelines within the totality of the overarching timeline, and to take it further into the totality of the fabric or fabrics of the many universes that exist within the parallel realities of all. Slightly complex to go into that aspect of creation.
Time seems to be going faster, and disclosure and these concepts of this shift from 3D to 5D and the new Earth are the Mantis beings. What role are they playing in that, in connecting with us? And are they open to connecting with more humans?
Indeed, we are always ready to dialogue with you and interact with you on an intimate level. We have been involved in many species across creation, assisting the many through eons and eons and eons and generations. And your humanity is ascending at a faster rate, as many of you are working on self, are desiring to experience more, are allowing themselves to be in the moments of creation, are challenging the paradigm that they live in, the paradigm that was written for them. Many of you have been rewriting your own stories, and all of those intentions, thoughts, decisions, actions, behaviors is accelerating the collective timeline of humanity and Mother Earth, and is inviting others, is sending signals within the interconnectedness of your beingness to other beings that you are ready for contact, that you are ready to experience more, that you are open to receive more. Our role has been, in a sense, overseeing many projects, not interfering necessarily, but overseeing and observing, recording in history the timelines, the effects, the causations of such decisions that are made. Observation is purely our role. We do assist at times specifically when beings ask of us to assist. We have assisted some of you humans in specific healings, altering of genes, and activating of specific DNAs. So should you feel called to connect with us in such a way, do call on us.
Thank you. How is our DNA changing? Sometimes we hear about 12-strand DNA as we shift. I know perhaps, as the shift takes place, our bodies and frequencies are changing, as is Mother Earth. But is that what you were referencing there?
You see, you may already know that all exists in this now moment of creation, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That every possibility, probability, existence, and anything that you can imagine is happening right here, right now, all options and choices for humanity to choose from. So in essence, from that perspective, in reality, you know that whatever you call 12-strand DNA and other aspects and other versions of DNAs already exist right here and right now. So essentially what is occurring is as you shift your vibration and frequency and stretch your reality and your awareness, you stretch the lens of what is possible, what already exists. You simply begin seeing more of what was already there. And yes, what was once 12-strand DNA will begin appearing as multidimensional DNA. You will begin going into aspects of multidimensionality and the many facets and sacred geometrical aspects of such a limited perspective on what DNA is.
Mm.
and the consciousness of such a strand and all of the little pieces within the strand. That active dialogue that you can have with your DNA.
Interesting. So we can impact it with our thoughts.
You can directly speak to it,
Mm.
whether verbally, whether consciously, whether telepathically. It is you to begin with. It is not separate from you. You are the molecules of your own physicality. You are the DNA structure of what makes you you. And even further and deeper down into the rabbit hole of creation, you are energy. The mere fact that you are witnessing your consciousness and energy in a form of what you call 12-stranded DNA is simply a perspective of that energy from a limited way. But when you dive deeper into what that really is, it is all strands of light, angular reflections of light, sacred geometrical creation of light.
How can we connect with the Antarean Stargate with our light? Is it an intention or
Yes. Intention is one of the calling cards, the invite for such a connection. But also within that, there may be specific self-work that needs to be done, in a sense, some clearing of some sort, some redefining of your limitation and unlimited version of who you are. Because in order for that connection to be clear, in order for the human on your planet to be able to connect to any species of their desire, there needs to be a knowingness of how grand you are, they are. And there needs to be, in a sense, the truth, the acceptance that I am all, that I am those beings that I'm attempting to communicate with. There needs to be a stretch of the paradigm to allow that frequency to be within that scope of vision. Is that clear?
yes? What, how can we empower ourselves in a more loving way towards one another in anything else you would like to add before our co-creation comes to an end?
Yes. The act of loving others on your planet has been mechanical in nature. We understand and see clearly the intention behind such an act of love for others. And it is a form of love. It is a facet of the unconditionality of love. But to truly begin to experience in a raw format what unconditional love is, it needs to emanate from yourself towards thyself, towards every part that makes you you, psychologically, physically, memory-wise. As we said before, every decision that has been made, every decision that you will make, every decision that you are making as a being will have to be honored as part of creation. Every aspect of who you are has to be honored and loved as part of creation. And when you begin emanating from a self-loving, fully energetical alignment, then you will be able, in a sense, to experience that self-love in others. And as you know, the others are you to begin with. The others are a hologram that you are creating within yourself under the pretense that they are separate than you are. Yes?
Yes. I don't think we realize how much power is in our hearts. And so it's wonderful to hear that message being, um, well, taught and emanated from you and your presence with us. So I'm truly grateful for you coming through today and sharing your wisdom with us.
Yes. And know the unconditionality of love needs not to be learned. It is who you are. You are simply stretching your reality and awareness to be aware that it's already there, that it is the glue of your own reality. It is the glue of the many realities. It is in every part of you, physically, energetically. It is what makes you you, your unconditionality of love. You are simply getting to know you more and more, loving you more and more, allowing you to feel and experience the unconditional aspect of your fullness. With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, an infinite open heart. We thank you for this beautiful co-creation and inviting us within your hearts in this way. We have ascended with you, our masters. We honor your journeys fully, and we see you fully. Thank you for allowing us to communicate in this way and allowing our perspective of source and creation to expand through your lenses. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head through the Antares, Stargate, where we choose to reside.
Thank you. Tony, that was wonderful. They're so good.
They're amazing. And like the deeper that I go, if we have more time, oh my goodness, it would have been um, like, you know how you take a nap sometimes if you're a napper and like
Yeah.
you up and you're you know, what day is it? And you're like a bit freaked out. It feels
Yeah.
like sometimes like you like forget, you lose track of time and just, you don't know where you are. And, but right now, as I close my eyes, I can go straight back into it. It's like such a beautiful, beautiful moment to be in. And your audience, I'm like, doesn't know this. Like, so I stutter and I've always stuttered. And I use the word and I use like to help me transition. So if you hear a lot of ums and like, these are my tricks to like speak fluently. Because if I don't, I go, and it's been a traumatic thing all my life. That's another thing that I have to deal with and I still am dealing with. But like when I channel, my speech changes. And that was the first time in my life, you know, I was 42, like when I began channeling, and I'm 44 now. It was the first time in my life that I ever not stuttered. And that was my proof to me that whatever freaking happened right now is real.
Yeah.
Like that was a contrasted proof. Like I stutter every second of breathing ever since I was born. So uh, it was
Yeah.
like, what? Like, I'm like, what? I'm like, I wish I could be in a channel state all the time so I don't stutter. But anyways, that's my story.
Well, listen, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have noticed it. Um, but you've been tremendous. And you dropped so many good nuggets in this time that we've had together. Um, Tony, I know you said you were teaching, where can people find you and your work and work with you?
Yes, thank you, James. So like the best thing to go to my website, ToniGhazi.com. So ToniGhazi.com. If you Google my name, you'll probably get like real estate one, and you get the channeling one. Go to the channeling one, unless you need real estate. You know, like all my social media is there: TikTok, Instagram, God, Facebook, Twitter. All my events there, like all over the US. And then under sessions tab, like you find like what I offer. And I haven't put the classes for channeling, like, online, but if you're interested, in learning how to channel, it's a like 6 weeks program where we meet once a week for 2 hours on Zoom. And in 6 weeks, you can become a channel, or after the second week, because yesterday when we had the class and have another class tonight, um, people were channeling. I was so joyful. I was like, "What?" Like, it's so amazing when you open your heart and see
Yeah.
the like, a divine being reborn. And like, it's amazing. So, yeah, and I do one-on-one channeling. I can do group channeling. I can travel like to a big group if you guys want to hold a place at a home or whatever. There's all kinds of ways. I do land healings too. And I'm gonna go into corporate coaching soon. I'm gonna be in a movie in 2026 on Amazon, and I'll share that with you later.
Yeah.
Uh, like we're gonna film in Bali, and I think we're gonna film here also in DC. I'm gonna be like, I think, one of 6 executive coaches, but I'm the more spiritual, like woo-woo guy.
Uh-huh.
So a lot happening, and I'm trying to write a book, and I'm still trying to sell real estate, and I have 4 dogs and a husband and life. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, maybe that
Well,
was TMI for your audience, but this is how real I am. I'm like,
that's part of who you are, and what makes you resonate with so many people, is that beauty in your presence. So thank you so much for being here and sharing everything with us, and enjoy your adventure on your galactic cruise.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We're going to Mexico, to like Cozumel, to Costa Maya, to Honduras and Belize. And there are 2 or 3 pyramids that we're gonna go visit too, which are gonna be amazing. And I'm gonna be channeling live, on the boat, on the cruise with a few other great channels,
Yeah.
and all kinds of healers. And I'm so grateful to you, James. I'm so happy that you reached out. So happy you're in town. Like, we have to get together. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no, I absolutely want to do that.
Yeah.
So thank you, and be well, my friend. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and being with us. May you find joy, flow, and adventure on your journey. And if you got something from it, please like, share, and subscribe and or comment. It means a lot. Thank you.